Hi, welcome back to The Scent Advocate and Happy New Year. 2026, I can't believe how quickly this year went by. So again, I've been thinking about warm fragrances. It's very cold in New York again tonight, lots of snow, lots of chill in the air. And what feels better than warm, cozy fragrances that allegedly smell like oud? I can't think of anything. So obviously, these fragrances are going to be westernized versions of oud as opposed to more traditional since they lead with oud. I'm not sure that actual ouds always lead with the word oud or necessarily have oud in the name of the fragrance itself, but these do. And they're definitely more mainstream, but I love them just the same. I would also love to hear from any of you who are oud aficionados or have an expertise with oud. What do you think of these? Are they completely false ouds, or do they have a little oud in them? Is there some validity to the concept of a Western oud? Let me know what you think in the comments. And by the way, if you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. All right, let's jump right in. The first fragrance I want to talk about is Oud Ispahan by Christian Dior. This I got in Las Vegas earlier this year on vacation. I really didn't know anything about it, but now that I have it, I'm constantly seeing references to it when I'm attracted to a fragrance description and I'm considering whether to get a sample. I find this coming up over and over again. So I think the notes as they present in this fragrance are things that I'm naturally attracted to. It's absolutely wonderful. This strikes me as a dark, smoky, warm berry with lots of heavy patchouli, maybe a dark raspberry, some dark toasty wood, and of course, whatever the westernized note is that we commonly think of as oud. Of course, oud is in the name. By the way, this is interesting. It's an esprit de parfum, which as I understand it is more concentrated than an eau de parfum, but slightly less than a straight perfume or an extrait. Let me know in the comments if you happen to know, but it's definitely strong, which I appreciate. The price point on this for me was steep. And I like that a little goes a long way, and I love being able to smell it all day on myself. It's really, even though it's warm and cozy, it's really energizing and uplifting for me. I don't know about you, but fragrance really affects my mood, and this puts me in a good one. So official notes, again, I really don't like to go there when I make a video. Excuse me. But since I'm talking about oud and I'm not sure there's actual oud in this, I'll tell you that the notes as I understand them to be are spices, rose, and oud. And you probably hear that this is one of those, jammy roses, and I don't know. I suppose so. It fits that typical type description. What I love about this fragrance and what it was recently compared to a few times when I was studying up on a different fragrance is Fendi. And I'll get to that one a little later, but that was a fragrance of my youth. It was very grown up, very sophisticated, very rich smelling, very much like Oud Ispahan, but I can't find it anymore, at least not for under $500 for an eau de toilette, maybe 30 mil, 50 mil. Outrageously expensive because I believe it's been discontinued, but that was just amazing. So if you are a Gen Xer like myself and you remember what Fendi was like, this might scratch the itch. But I also have another one that might do even more for you. We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, beautiful stuff. By the way, this bottle is, I believe, 80 mil. It's funny, there's etching on the bottom of the bottle, but I can't really tell what it is. So I believe this is an 80 mil. And you can see the gorgeous dark purple color. It's just, it's sensational. So check out Oud Ispahan from Christian Dior. Next, we've got Louis Vuitton's, can you guess? Ombré Nomade. Oh yeah. Another dark, gorgeous, allegedly oud, potentially real oud. I don't know. Like I said, I've gotten different bits of information as I've studied these fragrances, but what I do know for sure is that this is amazing. I smelled this in boutique, also in Las Vegas. Absolutely stunning stuff. So the notes officially on this are oud, amber, benzoin, incense, rose, and raspberry. So I guess you get that same kind of jammy rosy thing going on. But this is a little more light. It's strong, but it's not as kind of the backbone isn't as severe as what you get in Oud Ispahan. And if you're looking for that kind of 80s chic, really strong Fendi type vibe, it's going in that direction, but it's not as severe. It's a little more subtle. Still very strong, great lasting power, good projection, but in my mind, a little bit less strong than Oud Ispahan, which makes sense because this is an EDP. By the way, this is 100 ml. Now, of course, it's Ombré Nomade. It's not Oud Nomade. So if I said Oud Nomade before, please forgive me. Like I said in my last several videos, I am not editing. But it's Ombré Nomade. This is, I believe, generally accepted as a westernized oud fragrance. So again, wanted to present those notes as I understand them to be. I definitely get the amber and the benzoin, the raspberry, sure. That jammy rose again, sure. But I think the benzoin and the amber are really strong here. There's some smoke, some incense, but it's definitely not prominent to me. But it is a warm, cozy, beautiful experience. Both of these fragrances are probably unisex. I think that Ombré Nomade is more soft and potentially therefore more feminine than Oud Ispahan, but I wear them both and I am not shy about it. They're amazing. I think anyone can wear these. It's just about how much strength you're looking for and projection. Next, we've got Guerlain Oud Kohl. Again, a very dark, beautiful purple, not dissimilar to the Oud Ispahan. This fragrance took me completely by surprise. Again, I sampled it in boutique in Las Vegas the last time I was there. This strikes me as a stronger oud accord, if it's not a note. This has more fruit in it. It's brighter than the other fragrances. Let me just adjust this light. There we go. Try to keep it consistent. Sorry about that. Up and down with the light. This is more fruity. Really beautiful stuff. It's the notes as listed are oud, leather, moss, praline, berry. The berry really comes out. Musk, aldehydes, and neroli. Now, I do not get the aldehydes. Aldehydes are hard for me to detect. I know them when I smell them in a linear fragrance. So if you were to look at like a Le Labo aldehyde, I can't remember if it's what number the aldehyde is, but you know the one. That to me is a very intentional aldehyde. This, you know, again, such a beautifully crafted, amazing fragrance. It's in there for sure. You can detect it if you're thinking about it. And the more it dries down, it may be a little aldehyde forward, but what really jumps out to me is the brightness of the berries. Obviously the musk, the leather is subdued. It's not overly masculine. It's definitely a unisex fragrance. Again, that warm, cozy feel. And the more I'm smelling, this is more I'm kind of eating my words on those aldehydes. They are coming out more, I think, more on paper than they tend to on my skin. This is, it is an EDP. This is 100 mil as well. But I'll tell you, a little goes a long way, like with the other fragrances I'm talking about tonight. It's an amazing experience. Definitely unisex, happy. This is a New Year's fragrance for sure. So I guess I've heard people talk about aldehydes being sparkly and uplifting and all that jazz. I don't understand what's meant by sparkly, but there's something going on here that I think might correlate to that. So let me know what you think. Definitely dark, and I believe the Guerlain website indicates that if black had a color, it would smell like this. I disagree. I love it. I bought it. I love it, but I don't know if it smells black to me. I think it smells like the color of the fragrance. Dark purple. Shadowy, but shadowy at a party. You know what I mean? Gorgeous stuff. Lots of berry, white musk, that oud thing. And yeah, maybe those aldehydes after all. Let me know. All right, moving on to the final selection for tonight that I absolutely adore. And I cannot believe I didn't come to know this until just recently. This is Diptyque's Oud Palao. Have you ever heard of this? I stumbled on this, by the way, it's 75 ml eau de parfum. I stumbled on this when I was looking for whatever folks were describing as the closest thing to that Fendi I mentioned earlier. And someone mentioned that Oud Palao reminded, I think it was him or her, of the Fendi, if I'm remembering correctly. And I took a chance and I made a blind buy with this. And I am so glad I did. This is the closest I've come to that Fendi fragrance. This is warm, delightful. It's got a little animalic edge that sets it apart and really makes it singular. So the notes in this are oud, rose, tobacco, sandalwood, patchouli, vanilla, rum, and camphor. I detect something animalic, though. I would say maybe civet. There's something going on in here more than the notes as I read them. Have you smelled this? Let me know. It's not human, right? It's not that human kind of sex, sweaty smell. This is animal. It may even be a little bit fecal, but I think I'm not attracted to fecal fragrances. This has character. Maybe it's oud. Maybe it's that barnyardy thing. Oud is in the name. Oud is a prominent note in the description. Maybe that's what I'm detecting. Let me know what you think. And also, if you've ever smelled the Fendi fragrance I'm talking about, if you know it, let me know if you think this is reminiscent. And it's not identical, not by a long shot, but this takes me right back in the way none of the others have. Not that they should necessarily. I think the next closest was the Oud Ispahan. So yeah, and as this dries down, the Oud Ispahan, I am getting a slight hint of cumin in there, which is amazing. It cuts some of that dark, jammy sweetness, that syrupy sweetness. But this one, whew, this is a sexy, sexy oud. It is something I don't hear talked about a whole lot. I don't see covered a whole lot. But what a stroke of luck that I came across it. I've never bought a backup bottle of anything, but I am so afraid they'll discontinue this. I am tempted. So let me know what you think about these ouds. Are they real? Are they westernized oud mimics? Do you love any of these? Do you hate them? Can you point me in the direction of a Fendi knockoff or anything? So far, this is as good as it gets, and it is amazing. I absolutely love this one. Mm. By the way, the notes in the Fendi are similar to the Oud Palau, but with more flowers. It definitely has oak moss and musk in there. It strikes me as more of a classic 80s chic. This strikes me as more of an oud, like I guess a little bit of a truer oud. Not that I'm an oud expert, but I think you know where I'm going. So again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And hey, Happy New Year. Bye.